were attacked at about 7 p.m. by non-government who arrived on 2 motorcycles, and of course others came from the bush, when an elderly man in the community was celebrating his birthday, and the suspected gunmen, or rather non-government, killed 6 people and injured many. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, informed that the youth of the area summoned courage apprehend one of the gunmen with his motorcycle and gun, who was later handed over to the soldiers on special duty at Guantu. Guantu is the capital of Sanga local government. Also informed that some of the victims are currently receiving treatment at the University Teaching Hospital in Jos, the capital of Plateau State. Concerned that the residents of the community are still traumatized over the losses and level of insecurity resulting from the attack, aware that the primary duty and obligation of government is to ensure the protection of lives and properties of every Nigerian. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House resolved that we observe a minute silence in honor of the deceased victims. Also urge the Inspector General of Police to urgently deploy more police officers to the area to complement the ones on ground. Also urge the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Army, as well as the Department of State Security Services, to collaborate and ensure that the culprits involved are brought to book. Also urge the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, to provide food and non-food items to the affected victims. And also mandate the committees on police, army, and emergency and disaster management to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Bello Rufai, let me allow you to second the motion from your brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mohammed Bello Rufai. I represent the good people of Kaduna North. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my elder brother and leader from Kaduna State. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on police, army, and emergency and disaster preparedness for further legislative action. Shall we rise for a minute silence, please? May the soul of the departed rest in peace. The next matter of urgent public importance is coming from Honorable Ginger Obina Osibe. If he's around, please kindly rise and move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very distinguished colleagues. My name is Ginger Obina Osibe. I represent the
Honorable Jimmy Benson, are you sitting properly?
Officer
Please sit down properly. You are in the chamber, please. Yeah.
I represent the people of Isialangwa North, Isialangwa South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am an Ungba man from Abia State. I rise this morning on this matter of urgent public importance coming from Order 8, Rule 5. Mr. Speaker, the motion is to address the tragic death of Honorable Richard Ihanyi. I seek your permission and the leave of this House to move this motion.
Honorable Jimmy Benson, can you second the first leg?
Thank you very much, Ian Zazal, Right Honorable Speaker, Agbakin of Ekiti, Atunlushe of Ikorodu Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my good friend. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg? Any seconder to the second leg? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Saidu Yusuf Miga. I represent Jahun Miga Federal Constituency. I'm from Jigawa State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my Honorable. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House notes the tragic death of Onomebu Richard Ihanye, who hailed from Omawo, Amobugu in Ihe Autonomous Community in Isialangwa North Local Government of Abia State. He was a dedicated civil servant who tragically lost his life due to torture inflicted by members of the Nigerian Navy. Mr. Onomebu, a loyal employee of the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital Ojo in Lagos, served diligently for 15 years and was on grade level 8, demonstrating unwavering commitment to his duties. Disturbed that on that fateful day, the fateful night of March 26, 2024, Mr. Onomebu was subjected to brutal torture for horrifying duration of 5 hours from 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. by 5 naval officers, reportedly summoned by an aggrieved lady who had issues with the deceased. This barbaric act not only robbed Mr. Onomebu of his life, but also tarnished the reputation of the Nigerian Navy and violated the fundamental human rights. Worried that measures are needed to forestall the possible breakdown of law and order by aggrieved youths protesting the tragic death and untimely death of this colleague and brother whose life was cut down at his prime. Realizing that this is the second time my constituent is being killed unconditionally by the Nigerian Navy in the past 3 months. Concerned that the circumstances surrounding Mr. Onomebu's death demands immediate attention and justice. It is therefore incumbent upon this Honorable Assembly to take decisive action to ensure justice, accountability, prevent further atrocities, and uphold the rule of law. The House now resolves: 1, to observe a moment of silence for the deceased. Mandate the Nigerian Navy to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into the events leading to Mr. Onomebu's death, with a focus on identifying all individuals involved and holding them accountable under the law. Urge the authorities of Nigerian Navy to implement measures to prevent similar incidents of torture and abuse within the Nigerian Navy, including enhanced training of human rights and adherence to legal protocols. Provide adequate support and compensation for the family and deceased, acknowledging the irreparable loss they have suffered. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? Tabezi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Akim Adine Adeyemi. I represent the good people of Afidjo, Atiba, Oyo East and Oyo West. I'm from Oyo State. I want to rise to second the motion, ably moved by my colleagues. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Put the question, I think the leader, you want to say something? You want to contribute?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Kingsley Chinda, I represent the above federal constituency. I'm an inquiry man from River State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I think that some of these very, very touchy and interesting matters that came up on the floor of the House this morning, all bordering on security, are worthy of deeper consideration. That's why I indicated interest. The one on the floor now, it's very unprofessional conduct by our naval officers, which I think requires deeper investigation. I would not want to be judgmental to completely condemn the action here and now, but I think it is proper for us as a parliament to investigate the circumstances behind this, because some of us, even as a legal practitioner, I have also had a similar experience from the Nigerian Navy defending a client. But I think that we should go deeper. It's not enough to condemn it and urge the Nigerian Navy to ensure that they put structure in place to avoid future occurrences. Let us investigate and find out what is actually happening. And then if there is need for legislative action to forestall future occurrence, we take such steps. Again, the issue of security, Mr. Speaker, this might be the 4th time that we will be observing 1 minute silence this morning. If you recall, in our last meeting, we were almost tagging our country, 1 Nigerian life, 1 minute silence. It is not enough. The most quoted section of the Constitution on the floor of this House is Section 14.2. There is hardly any week we don't rely on Section 14.2, which has to do with security of lives and property. But what are we doing as a parliament? I think that we should look at all our resolutions that has to do with insecurity, all the resolutions. Let us put them together and begin to ensure compliance with some of these resolutions. Because we arrive at resolutions day in, day out, and nothing happens. And to Nigerians, it is as if we are not doing anything or we don't really bother. I think that we have enforcement mechanisms to some of our resolutions. Let us activate those enforcement mechanisms so that we begin to enforce resolutions of this House. I support this motion and pray that we carry out proper investigation in order to begin to nip these issues from the bud. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Leader. But as you know, because of the concern we have for the Nigerian people, particularly as it relates to Section 14.2, which is the protection of lives and properties, that's why this House Chamber has agreed or resolved to convey a legislative security summit to address all these matters, and I'm sure it will come before the end of this legislative year. So please, all these kind of happenings, we implore you, we expect you when the time comes for you to bring them up so that we can discuss them holistically and take position once and for all. Thank you for your contribution. Honorable Isiaka, I think you also want to contribute, right?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want quintessential speaker with substantial values. Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayakunle Isiaka, I speak for and on behalf of the very good people of the Ifoewego Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, the leadership, my honorable colleagues. What I would intend pointing out is going to be a rider because the leader, minority leader, already almost stole my point. Sorry, sir. My colleague missed out referring to the Committee on Navy to see through this investigation, because if the Navy is accused of doing this, it should not just be on the table of the Navy alone as well to just go and investigate without the intervention of the House. So if I'm permitted, I want to move it as an amendment to his prayers. Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead. I was trying to call his attention to that particular aspect. Since you have raised it, please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, once again, thank you very much. The amendment to what my honorable colleague, to his prayers, is that this matter be referred to the House Committee on Levy for further legislative action. In fact, it should even be the House. I withdraw that, Mr. Speaker. No. The House Committee on Levy to investigate this matter and report back for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Lauri.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable members. Kwamoti Bitrus Lauri, representing Jamsa Numa Lamurde Federal Constituency. I second the amendment as moved. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Those in support of this, you want to contribute? Please make it snappy because we have so many other items before us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ahmed Jah Babao, Chibok Dambo, Goza Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by sympathizing with Honorable Obina Jinja for the loss of his constituents and other honorable members that move their motions of urgent public importance on the lives of Nigerians that have been wasted, that are avoidable. I wish to sympathize with them. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, riding on the position of the minority leader, Mr. Speaker, we have been saying on this floor of the House, in as much as substantial amount of money is not going to be allocated or will continue to be allocated to these security agencies, security in Nigeria will not and never come to an end. Mr. Speaker, between 2015 to 2023, more than 19 trillion naira was spent on security and security-related matters in Nigeria. Whereas we have an alternative where we can bring in mercenaries. It was attempted during President Goodluck Jonathan. They were about to finish Boko Haram. And later on, the new president was convinced and removed them out of the country, and the insecurity keep on escalating to northern Nigeria, particularly in the northern central part of the country and to the northwest. Only God knows where it will spread in the next few years, God forbid. Mr. Speaker, as you said, we are going to have a summit. This House must have a position paper from constituents, particularly in the security-prone areas, on the issue of employing or bringing back mercenaries to finish security issues in this country so that investors can come in and invest. People can have time to go to their farms. Mr. Speaker, this is my position. If you hold to no objection during the summit, we are going to organize a movement to present a position paper on the ability, on the attempt to bring mercenaries, to bring an end to this security crisis, since our security agencies have failed Nigerians. This is my position, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable, for your contributions. I think we need not to bedevil on these particular topics. We have taken enough contributions. So please, with your kind permission, let me just put the question. Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Navy for further legislative action. Please let us rise for a minute silence. May her soul rest in peace.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Dominic Okafo. I represent the good people of Agata Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. My point of order is on Order 8, Rule 6, personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is my suggestion that considering that we are using this refurbished, magnificent chamber for the first time, and considering that over 50% of us are first-timers, we've never been here, it is my opinion that an officer who has a very good knowledge of the environment or the facilities here should be able to explain to us, give us some information as regards to the facilities that we have here, so that we can have a very good maximum use of the facilities, and very importantly, about the safety, the conveniences, the muster point, as when there is emergency, where are the exit points? Mr. Speaker, this is my humble opinion. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, honorable colleague, for this very important observation. I'm sure the chairman committee on house services is here. He has heard you. And
order, please.
You will fix an appropriate day for a proper briefing on the operations of this particular chamber. But what I can tell you for now is that almost every item you see here is under testing. The contractors are yet to formally hand over. As soon as they finish doing so, the house services will do something to enlighten members on the facilities available and how to operate them. Thank you for this observation. Your point of order is sustained. Thank you.
Personal explanation, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable, please go ahead. Honorable colleague, thank you very much for this observation as well. And as I've said earlier, this chamber is still work in progress.
Order, please.
A few things to be put in place. What I can assure you is that before the end of this week, all these items missing will be properly put in place. Sorry for the inconvenience, but for those of you whose seats are not actually having microphones, you are at liberty and with the leave of the speaker to identify any other seats to use for the time being. But after subsequently fixing all the microphones and all the facilities on your seats, please, I would want to indulge on all members based on our Order 9, Rule 3, that we should, as much as possible, try to stick to our seats so that identification will be much easier, because your seats are attached to, the numbers of your seat attached to your names, so it will make it easier for identification. And we should not be surprised if we enforce Order 9, Rule 3, subsequently, after everything is finalized, that nobody will be allowed to speak if he is not properly seated on his allotted seats. So please take note of that. And thank you very much for the observation. The Chairman House Services has heard you, and we all heard. So if you want to contribute further today, please try to take any available seat that has a microphone. Thank you very much.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Dr. Patrick Umar. I represent the entire people of Ikore-Ekpene, Senudim, Obodo-Kara Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm a proud son of Akwa Ibom State, and my point of order is on Order 8, Rule 6, personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, sir, by your indulgence, I was appointed the chairman of the House Committee on Monitoring, Evaluation and Implementation of the Legislative Agenda. And Mr. Speaker, for the optimization of the standing orders of this House and for robust legislative engagement, the Committee on Monitoring, Evaluation and Implementation of Legislative Agenda had, pursuant to Order 84, Rule 1, Sub F, issued letters to the 137 standing committees of this House to provide or furnish the Committee on Monitoring, Evaluation and Implementation of Legislative Agenda with details of committee performances. Mr. Speaker, I rise to inform this House that up till now, we have only received 2 reports from the Committees on Works and Interparliamentary Union, outside which 135 standing committees are still outstanding. Mr. Speaker, to report progress, we cannot make any progress if it remains so, as these standing committees had 14 legislative days to turn in their reports. I know certainly that the Committee on Monitoring, Evaluation and Implementation of Legislative Agenda enjoys the support of Mr. Speaker and the leadership of the 10th House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue this way, which is why I, as chairman, on behalf of the committee, am appealing to Mr. Speaker and the leadership of the House to insist that the 135 standing committees of the House, whose reports are still outstanding, should turn in same on or before the last legislative day that expires this month. This is the relief of my committee, and I know I speak on behalf of the members of my committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. God bless the 10th House of Representatives.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable colleagues, you have heard from him. The legislative agenda is your baby. You approve it, you supported it, and the best way for us to make it work is for us to really do what is expected. Please, let's ensure that all our reports are sent to the chairman between now and the end of the month. You should also be aware that we'll be celebrating our 1 year in office by June 13th. Some of your inputs from your committees are going to form part of our reports. So please, I urge you, I implore you, please kindly send your reports to him. We will list out the names of committees in the next 2 weeks that have not complied to further urge them to do so. Please kindly comply. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I have one announcement. I'm sure you could recollect the constitution of the committee, ad hoc committee on restructuring of federal agencies and commissions. We announced this before we went on the Easter break. And in that announcement, we announced the leader of the House as the chairman of the ad hoc committee. After further consultations, we have resolved that the leadership of the committee will be changed to allow leader have more time for other more important engagements. And to that effect, the new chairman of the ad hoc committee will be Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka, who will be deputized by Honorable Amos Magaji. Thank you very much.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Please go ahead, but please make it snappy.
Right, Honorable Speaker, with utmost respect, I heard when you told the minority leader, sorry, the leader of the House to
Are you demoting him or is a mistake?
It's a mistake, Mr.
So
Speaker.
apologize first.
I'm very sorry for that, Mr. Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, I heard when you...
No, he has already apologized now, leader. What's your problem with that?
Right, Honorable Speaker, you told him to step down the order of this House to allow us move other motion of public importance, which I know I also briefed you. So I think it's an oversight. If you can allow me take this motion of this little boy that died in school,
Honorable,
generated public.
I don't know whether it is your own. We have one motion of urgent public importance. It has no name. It has no constituency. We don't know who the mover is. And there's no way I can call on it. It could be your own. What's the subject matter of your motion? What is the subject matter? Please, clerk, can you check?
Mr. Speaker, I thought I briefed you this morning about this particular motion. And
I'm asking you, what is the subject matter of your motion?
Urgent need to investigate the cause of death of a 4-year-old boy in school. I think I briefed you that.
Honorable Cyril, you know clearly how we write our motions. This is your motion. It does not carry your letterhead paper, not the name of your constituency. Even you as the mover, your name is not even there. So how do you expect me to identify that you are the one?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry about that, but I have also a petition sent to me from the parents. So if you also want me to read out the petition, just give me.
I want to give you the opportunity to represent tomorrow because this motion is not properly addressed. You are not supposed to present a motion on a plain sheet. That is number one. Your motion should have your name and signature as a mover. All these are not contained in this motion. That's why we were unable to call your name.
No problem.
So please do the needful and we'll take it up tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you.
No, I'm not changing the rules.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. Honorable members, the business of the day is presentation of 28 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Insurance Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Education Research and Development Council Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Shippers Council Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Border Communities Development Agency Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Child's Rights Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Fiscal Responsibility Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Agbirodo, Delta State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024 First Reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024 First Reading. Federal Universities of Technology Act Amendment Bill 2024 First Reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024 First Reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024 First Reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024 First Reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, AWO, Osun State Establishment Bill 2024 First Reading. National Agency for Job Creation and Human Capital Development, AWODE-AD, Osun State Establishment Bill 2024 First Reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024 First Reading.
Thank you, Clerk. Honorable colleagues, as I've said earlier, the chamber is still under testing. We felt that we should put our agenda for today very light, just to observe how the facilities are functioning. And because of that, I think we have concluded on all the items we had before us. So with your kind permission, I will call on the leader of the House to move for the House to adjourn.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihonvere, Owa Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, same time, same venue. I so move.
Minority Leader, please, can you second?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do stand adjourned to tomorrow, same time. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House adjourned to tomorrow, 11 a.m. Thank you. Okay.
Chief Whip. Chief Whip. Chief Whip.